The Chitrik Academy is dedicated in loving memory of Rabbi Tzvi Hirsh Chitrik.
Welcome to today's lesson. Today we are going to learn from El Amar Abaya, which the line starts Vizigu, until Nefila. The line starts Becharsis, where the red dot is. In our previous lesson, Rabbah tried to explain the Mishnah that there's a mechaikas between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda will hold that if the person wants to put down his jug and it hits a wall and someone gets hurt from the jug or the water that's inside, then he'll be chayev, he'll be responsible to pay for their damages. However, if the jug broke while it was in his hands, then Rabbi Yehuda will say the person who owns the jug is not responsible, and Rabbi Meir will say that he is responsible. This is what Rabbah said. In our previous lesson we mentioned how Abaya disproves Rabbah's opinion. Today we are going to learn Abaya's opinion. Let's start from Ella. Ella Amar Abaya. Rather, Abaya says this is the explanation of Machoikis in the Mishnah between Rabbi Meir, which is the Tanakama, and Rabbi Yehuda. Betarti pligi. Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda are arguing two cases. What are these two cases? The first one is pligi b'shas nefila. They argue while the jug is falling, upligi lachana fila. And the second case they argue is after it already fell down on the floor. They argue even then what the halacha will be. What are these cases? Let's elaborate. This is case. Now we're going to explain case number one. Pligi b'shas nefila. They argue during while the jug is falling down. Benisko pesheya. If someone trips, is he considered pesheya? Is he considered negligent? Is he responsible for tripping? That is what they are arguing in. Mar Savar, one master, one of them holds, Rabbi Meir holds, Niskal peshehu. If someone trips, he will be responsible. He is negligent, because a person is supposed to watch where they are going, and therefore, even if he tripped, if his jug damaged something, or cause someone else damage, then he will be responsible. Umar Savar, however, Rabbi Yehuda holds, Niskal la pesheyahu. If someone trips, they are not a pesheya, they're not responsible because a person doesn't need to look where they are going. So this is Machoikis number one, how Abai explains between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. So this is according to Abaya, that while the person is holding the jug walking down the street, if he trips, niskal, if he trips, pesheya, is he considered to be negligent? Was he supposed to watch where he was going? And would he be responsible if, as he's falling, his jug hits someone? Rabbi Meir would say yes, the person is responsible. Rabbi Yehuda would say no, the person is not responsible because the person is not responsible if he trips. If he trips, it was an accident. He does not need to watch, look on the floor to look where he is going. This is Machoikis number one, according to Abaya. B'shas nefila, while it fell down, or what caused the jug to fall down. Let's continue the Gemara for the second Machoikis, the second part of the Mishnah. The second case, Abaya says, pligi la'achar nefila. They argue even if after it fell down, and now the jug is lying on the floor, will they be responsible or not? So b'mafkir nizakov, they're arguing whether if a person, something that could damage people he leaves on the floor, and he makes it hefker, he makes it ownerless, that he's saying, I don't own this anymore. So will he be responsible for it if it damages someone else or hurts someone else or not? Mar Savar, Rabbi Meir holds mafkir nizakov chayiv. Even if someone makes his items which could damage something, even if he makes it hefker, he will still be responsible for it. We'll explain why in a few minutes. Umar Savar and Rabbi Yehuda holds pater, that he will not be responsible. If a person makes his things hefker, he will not be responsible. Now let's see this on the board, and I'll try to explain a little bit the reason for this. This is the first case. Let's go to the next case of achar nefila. Once it fell down on the floor, the jug is lying on the floor and it spilled on the floor, and the person says, I'm now making this jug and this water, I don't want to be responsible for it, I don't want to take care of it, so I'm now making it ownerless. What will be the halacha? So, Reb Meir will say that the person will still be responsible. He will be responsible to make a check to show he will be responsible to pay for damages. If someone slips on the water or trips on the jug, then he will be responsible. However, Rabbi Yehuda would say that the person is not responsible. And let's see the reasons for this, why they hold their opinion according to their opinions. So let's see. We learned the case of something which is left in a Reshus Rabim, that person will be responsible from a bar, a pit. If someone digs a pit in Reshus Rabim, the Torah says he will be responsible. Now, the case of bar, what case was it? What were the details of the case? So, according to the mayor, the case was as follows. There was Reshus Rabim, the public area. Let's write this down. Reshus Harabim. And the person dug a hole in Reshus Rabim. This is the bar, the pit. And then the person decided, you know what, I'm going to make my pit hefker. I don't want to be responsible for it anymore. So the Torah tells us, even in such a case, the person will be chayev. This is what how Reb Meir explains the case. So let's write down Reb Meir. This is Reb Meir's explanation on what the din of bar is. However, according to Rabbi Yehuda, he holds that the case of bar is in a private property. It's not Reshus Harabim, it's Reshus Hayachid. It's a person's own private property, and he owned the whole bar. He owned the whole property. He owned the property and the bar. So if this person decides now that he wants to make it hefker, so what he's making hefker is only the property. This is what he's making hefker, the property that he stands on. But the bar itself, he does not make hefker. And in such a case, the Torah will say that he will be chayev. However, if he was in Reshus Harabim, in a public property, in a public place, then, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Torah would not make him chayev. So this is Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. This is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. So this is the machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and Reb Meir. Whether a person is responsible in Reshus Harabim as well, if he makes it a hefker, or only in Reshus Hayachid, if he makes his property hefker, but not the bar hefker, well, then he'll be responsible. According to Rabbi Yehuda, only in this case he'll be responsible, but in Reshus Harabim he will not be responsible. According to the mayor, he will always be responsible if he digs a pit. Now, based on this, we can explain their opinions in this case. Reb Meir holds, because we are dealing in Reshus Harabim in a public area, the same way by a pit the person will be responsible, even if he says hefker, same way over here, he will also be responsible. He cannot, even if he says, my item is hefker, we learn from bar that he will be responsible for this item. However, Rabbi Yehuda holds that the case of bar is only in a person's private property. Then we say a person cannot make it hefker. However, if it was in a public property, like in this case, then he will not be responsible. So this is how Abaye explains the machlokes between Reb Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. Now Abaye is going to bring a proof from the Mishnah. He says, Umi Mai, how do I know that the argument in two cases? Let's make a question mark. Umi Mai, how do I know the argument in two cases? So he answers himself. Let's put an A on the side. Midik Tani Tarti. Because the Mishnah brings us two ways how a person could have hurt himself, it says, Huchlak echad b'mayim. If someone slipped on the water, or the Mishnah brings a second case, Shalaka b'charsis, he was hit by the shards. Chayra haynu hach. Why do we need to know two ways how a person can hurt themselves on a jug? It seems like they're the same. It just brings us examples. Why do we need two examples? So Abai says, Ela lav hachikamar. So the Mishnah not coming to tell us? Which means, so obviously the Mishnah is coming to tell us that huchak echad b'mayim b'shas tefillah, that there are two ways a person could have gotten hurt, and there's two cases where there'll be a mechoikis. One is if someone slipped on the water or was hit by the water as it was falling, or he got hurt after it fell down. This is the way that Abaye explains the mechoikis between Rameir and Rabbi Yehuda. And this is the end of this lesson.